All right, Shalom. Before we get started in this lesson, as always, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Yahweh is a true, holy, and powerful name of whom the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shah is the name of his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Salakia. Let me put my garment on. Salakia. And as you can see from the title of this lesson, the title of the lesson is Moab, you ain't innocent. All right. Moab, you ain't innocent. I also would like to give double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Those are the men that teach me as 100% truth according to the Holy Scriptures. All right. And those are the prophets of the nation of Israel coming back in their lot to fulfill their lot and to receive that crown of life. And Moab is not innocent because the big thing in the news now is something called anti-Asian hate. Okay. Anti-Asian hate. Whatever that means. But it's funny because now all of a sudden Moab and Moab is the so-called Chinese, Koreans. All of a sudden they share the same oppression as us. All of a sudden they need the same type of attention and reparation and justice as Jacob, which Jacob had his name changed to Israel. Jacob is the forefather of the 12 tribes in the nation of Israel. All right, but as we know from studying history and the scriptures, all right, Moab, the so-called Chinese, and Ammon as well, but we're going to focus on Moab in this lesson, are guilty, all right, of oppression the Israelites. They are guilty of killing the blood of the Israelites. I mean, of killing the souls of the Israelites, all right, and oppressing us the same way that the so-called white man has oppressed us, the same way as the so-called Arabs has oppressed us, and the so-called African has oppressed us. The Chinese are right there with them. That's why in all these neighborhoods, we don't own any of the business in our neighborhoods, but the Chinese do, the Japanese do, the Arabs do, the white men do, and the Africans do. But you so-called Negroes and Latinos, you don't own any of the buildings in your neighborhood because you're being oppressed by these other nations. They are collectively oppressing you. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to get some scriptures because you so-called Moabites, you so-called Chinese, Koreans, as I said, you people are not innocent in the slightest, all right? And you have the Israelites' blood on your hands as well. You have stolen the riches of the Israelites as well. We built the Great Wall of China, okay? You've had free labor from the Israelites as well. So let's watch this video, and then we'll get some scriptures. And Lord, when this will be edifying to the elect.
This grainy security camera videotape graphically depicts the last few moments of 15-year-old Latasha Harlan's life. Store owner Soon Jadu thought 15-year-old Latasha Harlan was going to steal some orange juice.
She had the money in her hand. You can see the money in the videotape. And the suspect grabbed the backpack, and there became a physical altercation over the backpack. And as our victim turned to walk away from the scene, the suspect raised a weapon and shot the victim in the back of the head.
Latasha was an A student, honor roll student. She got money every week for her allowance, so she did not have to steal orange juice.
The store clerk, a Korean woman, is now. The black community is outraged over the killing. The NAACP is demanding the clerk be tried for murder.
Now, this was in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. And listen to the crowd. Do this sound familiar? This was what's that? 92, about 20-some years ago. I mean, 92 to 2000 is 8 years plus 20, so almost 30 years ago. We want justice. Black Lives Matter. What's the difference? Still singing the same song. Still trusting in this system to give you justice. Still trusting in these nations to love you. and the Lord put these nations over us for a punishment of our nation. Okay, but these heathen, they went further than they had to. They overdid it. They overdid the punishment. All right, to the nation of Israel. Scripture say in Revelation 11. Let me get that real quick. It says in Revelation 11 that they rejoiced over us because they made money from us being in this lower state. They make money from us being in this lower state. So like, yeah. All right, this is Revelation chapter 11 and verse real quick. Verse 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and in half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So you got all this anti-Asian, rallies and protests, but where were the Asians rallying and protesting for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans? They didn't protest for you. But yet, if the next video that I play is an anti-Asian protest, you're gonna see Israelites in the crowd marching for them. All right. They never told you that you was an Israelite. They never told you that you was Yahweh Shem Yahushai's chosen people. They never told you that you wasn't American, you wasn't really African American. They saw you in this dead estate and they took advantage of you. They laughed at you. That's pursuant to Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. Yeah, they look at us and they smack their lips, they shake their head. They think that we're pathetic. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? So they're basically mocking us. They're scoffing at the fact that we are the Most High's chosen people, showing you that they know that we are the people, but they're not going to tell us, and they're going to laugh at the state that we're currently in. Verse 16, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen. So this is the day that they were praying for, the day that we were niggers, the day that we were spics, the day that we basically didn't know who we were. This is the day that all these heathen nations were looking for, waiting for, hoping for, and praying to Satan for. Revelation 11 and 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and in half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. Because when in our rulership, we tormented these nations with righteousness, because they wanted to be wicked, but we forced them to keep the ways of the Lord to the best of their ability. We oppressed them in righteousness. Okay. It says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. They rejoiced over us. They were happy that we were in this lower state. Okay. Because they allowed to make money off of us, not keeping a Shabbat, not constraining our spending, getting us to indulge in all of their philosophies, which also brings them money. So they made money over us. So they rejoiced over our dead bodies. So no, they didn't give a crap about us.
CP is demanding the clerk be tried for murder.
Stop killing our children! We want justice! People, please read the words. Title of court and cause. We, the jury, in the event of action, find the defendant Sue Jardine guilty of voluntary manslaughter in violation of Section 192A. It is not a time for rhetoric. which serves no purpose other than to fuel the fire. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire that's already burning. It is my opinion that Mrs. Dew is not a danger to the community and that she is not going to reoffend. I know a criminal when I see one. I know a person who presents a danger to the community when I see one. When I don't, I treat that person as something other than that.
So, hey, Esau, you think that 15-year-old girl got that 13, however old she was, you think she got justice? No, she didn't get justice because Esau didn't see her as a killer, even though she just cold-blooded shot a teenage girl in the back of the head. All right, walking away. Esau states that she don't see her as a killer because you're not gonna get justice here. Let me see something real quick. What's that? Habakkuk. This system is a joke. Habakkuk 1:4. It says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. So that was clearly the wrong judgment. But this is the judgment that Esau dished out. All right, when a 14-year-old Israelite girl is killed. Let's listen to this again. Listen to this again. It's not a joke. This is serious. This is not a parody. It wasn't a prank. It wasn't a meme. This is real life. This lady walked, basically.
Opinion that Mrs. Dew is not a danger to the community and that she is not going to reoffend. I know a criminal when I see one. I know a person who presents a danger to the community when I see one. When I don't, I treat that person as something other than that.
She got probation. Okay, so this is what Esau's justice system feels about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And who's at the forefront of this? Moab. All right, talk about anti-Asian hate. All right. Well, welcome to our world that we've been living. And the only reason why you're starting to go through it is because the Lord said you were pursuant to the curses. The curses are falling upon these other nations and they don't know how to handle it. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies, on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So the Lord is putting all these curses on our enemies now. Okay. And on those that hate us. Okay.
There would be all the hell in the black community. Somebody would care. Stand up and see this insanity for exactly what it is. Black people once again can just get treated by this. Stay on the street. Since we don't pick cotton anymore and cut sugar cane, our lives is not worth anything.
Our lives is not worth anything. Is that not what they say 30 years later? Talking about Black Lives Matter. Okay. But yeah, you trust in this system, man. You trust in oppression, as it says in Isaiah 30. Okay. And this time it wasn't at the hand of Esau, it was at the hand of Moab. Hey, so that's it on that, man. Let's just get one video from the recent news. And then we're gonna get more scriptures because Moab, you're not innocent, man. You're going into slavery. All right, you're going into captivity just like Edom. Okay, just like the Arabs. Talking about anti-Asian protests. Let's see what this talking about. Got people crying and stuff. What was the tears for Jake?
The Bachelor is back. Stream it live, BC, with YouTube TV.
Wasn't no tears for you Israelites.
Hundreds of Montrealers united in solidarity. They gathered to speak out against anti-Asian racism and to remember the victims of the deadly Atlanta shootings, 6 of whom were Asian women.
Look, you got a simple Jake. You got a simple nigger woman Okay, looking like a heathen with that damn haircut. All right, in the crowd. Now, where was these Asians at for your Black Lives Matter marches? You know, where was all these Asians at for the Black Lives Matter? Where was all these, these crackers, fighting up and standing up for you? They wasn't there, man. But yeah, you got Jake right there, right next to they masters. Right next to they masters.
Women. Erica Zong and her friend came out to lend their voices. She remembers hearing the news from Atlanta this week.
I felt sick and just sad.
Oh, you felt sick and sad. Oh man, I wonder how we felt with Tamir Rice. I wonder how we felt when we saw Emmett Till, when we saw Mike Brown, when we saw Philandro Castile, when we saw Kenny Smith, when we saw Sandra Bland. I wonder how we felt, right? We felt sick. We felt sick to our stomach, learning our history in America. We felt sick to our stomach, man. And you got the nerve to sit up here and act like you're a victim of something.
Really sad and really angry.
Zong and all the others who gathered marched.
But they wasn't sad and angry for you, which that's okay. That's good, because you're supposed to only care about your own nation. But you Israelites, you're under a mental disease called Stockholm syndrome, where you only care about your oppressors. You don't care about yourself.
Through downtown Montreal, stopping in the city's Chinatown for a vigil. Last year, once the pandemic began, Montreal police recorded 22 crimes targeting.
Let's go back. I just saw another simple Jake.
Police recorded 22 crimes targeting Asian people. That's 19 more than the previous began. Montreal police recorded.
It's like, yeah, I'm trying to catch it. Look at this dude. Look at this Jake. Simple Jake. Another one back here. What are you there for?
Vigil. Last year, once the pandemic began, Montreal police recorded 22 crimes targeting Asian people. That's 19 more than the previous year.
I am not your scapegoat. Her son said, I am not your scapegoat. Man, oh, now you're the scapegoat? See, Moab, you're funny. You're really funny. But I'm about to show you in the scriptures, you're not innocent at all.
City Councilor Kathy Wong says the sting of racism has been difficult.
Unfortunately, these events have been happening throughout the whole COVID-19 year. And what's hard is that, we in the streets, we don't feel safe when we go to the grocery shopping. We don't feel safe when we're in public spaces.
Oh, now all of a sudden you don't feel safe. See, this is part of Esau's witchcraft to further destroy you Israelites, man. To make you think that there's somebody else that got it just as bad as you. There's nobody else that has it as bad as you Israelites, man.
It's an issue being highlighted across the country. The Chinese-Canadian National Council put out a report.
Look at this Jake, looking like a jackass with a damn face mask and a mask on. A face mask and a visor on, I mean. Looking like a fool. This man completely trusting in Egypt. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a dang on visor on and a face mask. I see some other Jakes in the back. So where was all these people? Look around you, Jake, and ask them where was they at the protest for the Israelites that were killed.
September, it found Canadians reported more anti-Asian racist incidents per capita than the U.S. since the start of the pandemic. On Rosemary Barton Live, 3 Asian Canadian members of parliament shared their experiences.
Some people have even taken to call the coronavirus, COVID-19, the quantum virus, as an example. That's directly attacking me as a Asian Canadian.
Despite the tragic events that led to today's march, Wong sees a ray of light.
Today was such a great moment of solidarity. It is one of the first time the Chinese and Asian community has come together in Montreal, protesting and talking about racism. And I think that this is a positive step towards recognizing this issue in Montreal, but also working together.
CBC.
Look at this Jake. Look at this Jake. With the damn heathenistic dreads, man. Looking simple, not knowing what's going on. Just trying to get in where she thinks she fit in. That's enough of this crap. All right, because you Moabites, you so-called Chinese, you are nowhere near innocent, man. None of you heathen are innocent. All right, the Lord is about to do it with all of you, all of your rulerships. It's all coming down. All right, every last one of you. This is First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 6. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, that and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy. See, our city, Jerusalem, which is a people before us a place, was delivered into the hands of our enemies. Okay. It says, he said, woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of the strangers. Here, Slakia, her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Those glorious vessels are the Israelites. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. And where was Moab when your young men was slain in the streets, when your infants was being killed? You just had a 1-year-old Israelite baby that was shot in the head. I don't see no Moabites protesting against the police for that. It's a joke. And like I said, it's witchcraft to make you Israelites think that there's somebody that got it just as bad as you. There's nobody that got it as bad as you. And these Moabites are a part of the problem of why, a part of your problems, I should say. Verse 10 is the point. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? All these nations have had a part in taking down the kingdom of Israel. We built the Great Wall of China. Slaves built the Great Wall of China. Matter of fact, let me just do an experiment. Just typed in slaves built the Great Wall. It says it would be great to say that the Great Wall was built by dedicated citizens of China, but alas, that is not the case. It was built by recruited workers, military soldiers, peasants, and slaves through forced labor. Now, if let's say there was military workers and recruited workers and military soldiers that built it, why would it be forced labor? No, it was built by slaves through forced labor. It says it was built by slaves through forced labor, criminal conflicts, and prisoners of war. Israelites, man. It was built by Israelites. Let's look up Silk Road slave trade route. Silk Road, also called Silk Road ancient trade route, linking China with the West. This is the route that Israelites were sold into China. It says ancient trade route linking China with the West that carried goods and ideas between two great civilizations of Rome and China. So what do you think they was trading from through Rome and China? Silk went westward, and wool and gold and silver went east. China also received Nestorian Christianity and blah, 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 blah. Type in slave trade. Silk Road slave trade. Slaves on Silk Road. This is from University of California Press.edu. It says slaves like silk were Silk Road goods to be bought, used, and sold for profit, often transported long distance by land and sea to trade in foreign markets. While no slaves from this time survived to tell their story, they have left traces in art, archaeology, and text. From these, so it says they were traded by sea. Only slaves that was traded by sea were Israelites. It says, from these we can see that slavery was found throughout the Silk Road. And what was the Silk Road? A route that linked China to the east, or the west to China. I mean the west to the west to China. It says not particularly to any culture, place, or period. Its importance to the Silk Road economy probably rivaled that of silk, horses, and other goods. Yet slaves rarely have a central. Let me read that again. Yet slaves rarely have a central, if any, role in the Silk Road history that are told today. Yeah, that's what they're gonna tell you. But it just said that slaves in the Silk Road, it said, let me read this here. It says slave markets were found across the whole of the Silk Road. So how is they gonna say that slave really was on it? See, this is what Esau do. He speak with a forked tongue. In the beginning, he gonna tell you that the Silk Road had not much to do with slavery. Then when you scroll down, it says that slave markets were found across the whole of the Silk Road, from Dublin on the shores of the Atlantic to Shandong on the Pacific. And while much of the trade was by private merchants, governments also profited by imposing taxes both on the movement and on the sale of slaves. So yeah, you Moabites not innocent, man. You Moabites traded us. You had us building that weak ass wall, you know. All right, you are not innocent, and you worsened our punishment. You heathen, we worsened the punishment that the Lord put us under. Which I was gonna read that. Let's go back to that Zechariah chapter 1. Now all of a sudden you the victim. Now all of a sudden you're sick to your stomach and all this other BS. Zechariah 1 and 15. It says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen. The Lord is very sore displeased with the heathen. All right. And the heathen are all nations outside of the 12 tribes of Yasha'Allah. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. See, because you can complain all you want, but really you're at ease, man, because you have some type of liberty and pull in this kingdom. We have none. You can't be, you talking about racism. There's no racism against you because you have your own kingdom. If you feel like racism is that bad, go back to China, go back to Japan, go back to North Korea, go back to South Korea. Where are we gonna go? We don't have nowhere to go. We have no power. So we cannot be racist. Only you other heathen can be racist. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. You helped forward our affliction, man. Let's go to that word, helped. Because who did you help? You helped Esau. It says in the book of 2nd Ezra, woe unto Asia. Let's get that real quick. 2nd Ezra 16 verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Okay, woe unto you, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. See, because you've been a partaker of Babylon's agenda. You Moabites, you went right along with Esau and what he had planned. So the Lord said, woe unto you for that. Let me find this real quick. 2nd Ezra 15 verse 46. And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon and art the glory of her person. See, you're a partaker of the hope of Babylon. Babylon's hope is to get this new world order established, get this digital currency, push that market of beast. And who is one of the top 4 running countries in that agenda? China. You're not innocent. You're probably the least innocent out of all the heathen. Ishmael right up there with you. You and Ishmael is a hot number 2 behind Esau. It says Zechariah 1:15, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Yeah, the Lord said that you helped forward the affliction, man. So let me plug up my charger. You help forward the affliction, man. Okay, cool. We back. I can't see when the brightness is down. You helped forward our affliction, man. You made it worse than it had to be. Because what did you do? You followed after Esau, You conspire with Esau. Let's go to Baruch real quick. You shouldn't have been following the serpent, man. Baruch chapter 2, verse 5. Verse 4. Moreover, he have delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us. The Israelites, we are in subjection unto all you kingdoms that are round about. We were traded throughout all these countries. That's in Deuteronomy 28:64, that the Israelites will be traded into all nations. So all of these nations are guilty. Baruch 2 and 4. Moreover, he have delivered them to be in subjection to all kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all the people round about, where the Lord have scattered them. So we are a reproach among all the people where the Lord Yahweh Shai scattered us, man. You know? Psalms 83, man. Let's go here, man. To the classic. You're not innocent. Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. You Moabites, you hate Yahweh Shai. So why would he spare you? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. And this is how you forwarded the affliction. Okay, you took it as far as let us cut them off from being a nation. Let us remove the name of Israel from their remembrance. In order for that to happen, all these nations had to agree on that. Because if not, one of them was still going to be calling us Israel, and the rest of them wasn't. They all had to agree to make this happen. That's why the title of the lesson is Moab, you ain't innocent. Psalms 83 verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. But they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. See, they came together and they had to agree on that. When you go to that word one consent, it says lab, which means mind, with one mind. They're on one accord when it comes to this. Look, hey, we ain't got to agree on everything, but we agree we're not going to call them Israel. We're not going to tell them that they're Israel. That's why it says in Revelation 11, their dead bodies shall lie in the street, and they shall rejoice over us. You know, and shall see our dead bodies, and shall not suffer our dead bodies to be put in graves, because they're on one mind when it comes to that. Let's go to that word confederate in the Hebrew. It's barayah, barayat. It says covenant, alliance, treaty, pledge, constitution, ordinance. So this is basically a law, a hidden law, you know, an unspoken law amongst the heathen. You know, that they're not going to let Israel know who they are. You know, they're going to keep this a secret as long as they humanly, you know, carnally can, because spiritually they can't do it forever. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64. I mentioned it earlier. Let's get it. Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And it reads, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So we were scattered, all right, from one end of the earth all the way to the other, all right, among all people. Verse 65. And among these nations, right, these other nations, all these other nations, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease. These nations are at ease, but we don't get no ease. We don't get no rest. We get hired by them. We get hired at Mr. Heroes by the East Indian. We get hired at, you know, the hair store and, you know what I'm saying, the Chinese spot. We work for them. We lend from them. They loan to us. Deuteronomy 28:65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of life. Where at? Amongst these nations. Amongst these nations, our life shall hang in doubt. Amongst these nations, we shall have no assurance of life. Okay, amongst these nations, we will get a trembling heart, a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind for what these nations would do to us. All right. Zephaniah 2. Book of Zephaniah to the 2, verse 8. I have heard the reproach of Moab. The Lord is on to you, dude. Okay, you could try to switch up your song now, but the Lord had heard the song you've been singing for hundreds of years, thousands of years. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revelings of the children of Ammon, Japanese, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their borders. Let's go to that word, reproached. The Lord said, He have heard the reproach of Moab. It says, Kara, if I'm not mistaken, Karapa. And it says reproach, scorn, taunt. Yeah, taunt. Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? You know, these niggas, these monkeys, these nigga monkeys, you know, they Moab be talking stuff, man. Taunt, scorn upon enemy, reproach, resting upon condition of shame, disgrace. You know, reproach. So they reproach us, they shame us, you know, they disgrace us, they scorn us, they taunt us. But yeah, now 2021, all of a sudden they the victims of the planet Earth. No, it ain't gonna be like that. You can't do that. The Lord already got you figured out. Now you're trying to see, all these nations are trying to seek mercy. That's really all it is. They're all trying to lighten, you know, the narrative. Zephaniah 2 and 8, I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revelings of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their borders. They magnified themselves against the nation of Israel. Yeah, Gadol, which means great. They became great. The word Gadol means great. You know, they made themselves great against us. They pushed us down. They you know, exalted themselves, as all these heathen did. Zephaniah 2 and 9. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua of hosts, the power of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. Right. So all the Chinese and the Japanese that dwell in America, they're gonna get burnt up in that fire. Okay, because it's gonna be at Sodom and Gomorrah. We know that Babylon is gonna be at Sodom and Gomorrah. So all you Sodomites, Moabites, and Ammonites dwelling in this land, you're gonna be turned into that desolation. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them. You see? And then the Israelites are going to go to these countries of Moab and Ammon, and they're going to spoil them. We're going to take everything that they got. And the remnant of my people shall possess them. And then we're going to possess these Moabites. This shall they have for their pride. You see, because of their pride, man. Moab got just as, you know, just a little bit less pride than Esau, man. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, because you was talking all that stuff, thinking that you was all unstoppable, you know, invincible, thinking that you was that much better than us. You exalt your heritage as if it's so prestige, and you know, they were so wise, and they had these long beards, and you know what I'm saying? You was so strong with your karate. Y'all, look, man, Moab is weak, man. Moab can't do none of them moves that you see in the movies, man. Those were Israelites that did stuff like that. Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Israelites, man. Moab ain't got nothing. Isaiah 16 and 6. We have heard the pride of Moab. You see? Your pride. The Lord said he hate pride. The Lord said these 6 things doth the Lord hate. Okay, let's get that. Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Yeah, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises of wicked imaginations, feet that be swift to running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and him that soweth discord among brethren. So the Lord hates that proud look, first and foremost. All right. And you Moabites, you're known for just being proud, and acting proud, and having that proud look. So the Lord see you. Isaiah 6:16. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness, which haughty means to be disdainfully superior. That's how they feel about you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. That's why they follow you around the store like you about to steal something. And his pride and his wrath. Okay, we saw that wrath at the beginning of the video, man. She took wrath upon that little girl. And his wrath, but his lies shall not be so. You see, so you lied too. The Lord said he had a proud look, a lying tongue. Moab has lied. Moab has act like they built the Great Wall of China on their own when it was us. Moab act like they never sold us into slavery when they did. But his lies shall not be so. Therefore, Moab shall howl for Moab. Everyone shall howl for the foundations of Kir Hareseth. Shall ye mourn? Surely they are stricken. So the Lord's gonna jack them up, man. He's gonna jack these Moabites up, man. And these Moabites is not getting. They have no place in the kingdom, but to be servants and handmaids. Nehemiah 13:1. On that day they read the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of Yahweh forever. So that's a wrap, man. You're not innocent and you're not getting in. We already knew the kingdom wasn't for these other nations, but just to reiterate, you're never entering into the congregation forever. Ezekiel 25, verse 7. Behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen. So we were delivered for a spoil to these heathen nations, to all these heathen nations. And I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh the Most High, because that Moab and Seir do say. You see, you've been going hand in hand with Esau, Edom. Mount Seir is talking about Esau. Moab is talking about you Chinese. It said, woe be unto Asia, because you are a partaker of the hope of Babylon. You have the same plan as him. You top international, Chinese bankers. We're gonna put a chain out of Warren's eyes, me, around your neck too. Let's read that again. Ezekiel 25, verse 8. Thus saith Yahweh the Most High, because that Moab and Seir do say, behold, the house of Judah is likened unto all the heathen. Yeah, we done made them heathens. Certainly, this is a day that we have looked for, we have found, we have seen it. Look at Judah. They look like heathens. Verse 9. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from his cities which are on his frontiers, the glory of the country, Beth Shemoth, Baal Meon, and Kiratham, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites. So basically, all your major cities, Hong Kong, China, Tokyo, Shanghai, the Lord's going to destroy all that. Unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, the Japanese, I will give them in possession that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. You see? Because we're going to do away with all y'all so-called history. Everything that you say, all the stuff you thought your forefathers accomplished, nobody's going to think about that in the kingdom. That's going to all be done away with. Verse 11, and I will execute judgments upon Moab, and they shall know that I am Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. The Lord is coming for you, man, because you're not innocent. If you was innocent, this wouldn't be written. Isaiah 11. Go straight to the point. Verse 13. We're going to possess them and we're going to have you in slavery. Isaiah 11 and 14. Straight to the point. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together, and they shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab. You see, because you've been in close relations with Esau. That's why you always got a lot of Chinese that marry so-called white man and vice versa. Okay, because Moab and Edom, they're tight. They're tight. But here it is now. All of a sudden, Moab and Edom is beefing. No, man, this is all witchcraft, man. This is all another wicked device. Isaiah 11 and 14. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. So we're going to have all these kingdoms in subjection. You know, if we go snatch up these Edomites and these Moabites, and they're going to serve the nation of Israel, the elect of the nation of Israel. Jeremiah 48. Let's see where I want to start. I'm going to close out. Jeremiah 48 and 13. It says, and Moab shall be ashamed of Shamash, which Shamash is their false god, the name for their false god. And Moab shall be ashamed of Shamash, as the house of Israel was ashamed for Bethel, their confidence. How say ye, we are mighty men and strong men for the war? Yeah, because they trying to create super soldiers and all this crap. You know, like I said, they portray themselves to be these kung fu masters. You ain't never seen an Asian do nothing like that in your life, though. Nothing in real life, only in the movies. How say ye, we are mighty and strong men of war? Moab is spoiled and going out of her cities, and his chosen men are going down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai of hosts. Verse 16, the calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. Hey, the Lord is bad, man. Lord said, how you talking about you mighty man of war? How you talking about you strong, this and that, man? You about to be spoiled, man. And his chosen young men, meaning the best warriors you got, they're gonna go down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai of hosts. Let's go to that word slaughter. Slaughter. It says tabak. It says slaughter, slaughtering animals, slaughter of animals. Yeah, because these heathen live like beasts. You got Moab, they eat octopus. Moab eat anything you put on their plate, man. They follow no kind of laws, dietary laws whatsoever. They are literally beasts when it comes to what they eat, man. So the Lord's gonna slaughter you like a beast. It says a beast, you see? Properly something slaughtered, hence a beast. That's a spirit, or meat as butchered. The Lord's gonna butcher these damn Moabites up because they want to live like beasts. You know, they want to treat Israel like beasts. So the Lord's gonna slaughter them like beasts. That's why the Lord portrays these nations as various animals when you read Isaiah the 34th chapter. So Jeremiah 45:15. One more time, one last time. Moab is spoiled and gone up out of her cities. His chosen men are going down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is Yahweh of hosts. Of Moab is near, and his affliction hasteneth fast. You see, hey, so Lord was edifying Moab. You ain't innocent, man. You know, you ain't innocent. Let's get Jeremiah 30. What is coming for you? You know, the elect of Israel is coming for you. Adonai Ratazah, we are part of that number. Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Every one of them. Okay. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. Hey, the scriptures not say what nation have not gotten a part of her spoil. So all these other nations are going to be a spoil. And all thee that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kodash. Double honor to the apostle of the great millstone who rule well, teach well, sound doctrine. Peace, blessings, and safety to the elect of the nation of Israel. Brother Yaquam, Kwam Yashua. Shalom.